Hello, everyone, and good evening, and welcome to the Monday Night Fireside Chat. Tonight's topic is going to be livestock or animals. You know, what are you? Which one's right for you? What are you thinking about getting here? So, come on back over here. Hey, alrighty. So before we jump into this, I guess everybody's busy because I had several people invited up here and nobody's showing up. So let me go ahead and see who's all here, and we will kick back in here. All right, first one to pop in was Jay. Once again, bringing up the topic of milking polar bears. Then Rebel Canners came in, Shady Hill Homestead, Idaho Garden Girl, Lewis, and Keith Cronk came in, Stringfield Ridge Farm. Everybody chit-chatting, Digs Outdoors. And Gear Grinding 19's here. Making sure I'm not missing anybody as I'm speeding down here. Shift Kicker's here. And Hugo Homestead's here. All right. Couple things coming up here that I'm just a little bit of housekeeping I want to get out of the way here on some stuff here. All right. YouTube's been playing games with the stuff on my channel. And my internet froze again for a second. What I've been noticing over the last couple of months is that likes are disappearing from some of my older videos. And when someone comments on it, I go back, wait a minute, I know I had more likes than this. And I start checking things out, and I notice a bunch of the likes have disappeared off some of my videos. And so it's like, okay, I wonder what screwy game YouTube's playing here. And then I've noticed that when I've been checking the channel content to see how a recent video is doing, like one of my shorts, it'll have, so many views. The next time I look at it, it's got 10 views less. It's like, wait a minute, how can somebody unview a video? They viewed it, that comes in, and later on in the day, they disappear. It's like YouTube's playing games. And I got stuff around here to do. So I've been thinking about this for a little bit, about possibly dropping off either the Monday Fireside Chat or Friday night the Homestead, and just having one night broadcasting for Camppatton Family Compound, and doing the same thing over on Gray Man Prepping, and dropping the Thursday talk as soon as I finish up with the topics I already have scheduled for that. So what I'm asking you guys, I'm going to be asking this for a couple times here, which would you rather see me live at this time on Mondays, or at 10 o'clock Eastern, which is an hour and a half from now, on Fridays? So let me know which one you think I'll do better on, and that's the one I'm going to keep. I'm just getting so busy with stuff around here, it's hard to do it. Hey, Kathy, North Star Prep Center's here, and Tina Weber just came in. Hey. So, just kind of, think about it. Let me know what you think, whether Monday at this time or Friday at the 10 o'clock Eastern time. So, okay, Rebel says today. Shift Cricker says Fridays. I thought I saw someone else here. CB says, today, this time here. Okay, so yeah. Lewis, you're right. They don't want to pay out. They're scrambling their pay structure again. And something else I've noticed too is that on Gray Man Prepping, which is not monetized, they're putting ads up on there, and they're cutting ads back on Camppatton Family Compound videos. And some people have said, watch it. I didn't see any ads at all, and I know it's monetized. And they're not putting any ads on it, but they're putting ads on my videos over on Gray Man Prepping, which is not monetized. So yeah, that's the way they get to rake in the more money and not have to pay anything else out. All right. This time is between Sutton days and Freedom Homestead on Mondays. Okay, Tina. Well, yeah, it's also because at 8 o'clock my time, 10 o'clock Eastern on Mondays, Cortney does a live, and right now I guess she's thinking about just doing that as her members only live, but which is really cool. I mean, her members only lives are really cool. So I'm thinking about doing that too. Yeah. Louis, yeah, there are a lot of people starting channels, but a lot of the ones that have been around here for several years are just getting up there where they can start making money, and all of a sudden, the ads aren't showing up on their videos, but on the channels that aren't monetized are getting tons of videos placed, ads placed on their videos. I'm just trying to keep up with the side chat here too. Yeah, gear. I do that too. Because why should they be collecting it on someone who's not part of the partnership program? Okay, Kathy says tonight's busy for her. Okay, and Dick says he doesn't see ads anyways. He's sparring for the premium. And that's the thing too. Those on premium, I can't tell whether I'm getting any money for them because YouTube's has a thing of convoluted to see who's what, what demographics are watching the ads, who's clicking on ads, who's that. They say, oh, check on this, and you can see who's doing what. And it's like, how? And I keep looking and looking, and they keep going around in circles, and they got all these links to other pages and stuff which have nothing to do with it. And yeah, so yeah, you're yeah, Kaylin, you're right. You're definitely right. Yeah. So I'm going to see what's going on here, and we will I will figure out later on which one I'm going to do. So how many people and what time do you do the Gray Man is either one's going to be at 10 o'clock Eastern. It's either on Tuesday or on Thursday. On Tuesday is Tactical Tuesday. That's the one I've been running the longest. And Thursday has less view times on each of the live streams. So I may drop off Thursday, because it's just not drawing anything over there. Well, it is drawing some, and I appreciate those that come to it. I really appreciate your support. But it doesn't get the added numbers. I guess there's some other channels out there that are drawing everybody in. So on Thursday. So, anyways, so let's get on with. So that's really a lot of things I'm doing. So let's get on with tonight's topic here, and let's see what we can do here. So my thought on this was basically, I've heard other channels talking about they're going to be adding other animals to what they have, or they're thinking about getting animals to begin with. And so one of the things that I was thinking about was some of the ones that are more suburban, Corsair trainers, and a couple of the others. And then there are some that are apartment dwellers like Kaylin and Fat Man Prepping. And I forgot to send the link to him. Oh, man. Yeah, it's been a bad day. And anyways, example, if you've seen when Fat Man's been up there, he has this little quail cam going. He's raising quail in his dining room in his apartment. And there's some other people that have decent sized suburban lots. They're in a residential neighborhood, but they got decent sized lots, and they could raise, quail. They could raise rabbits. Depending on how loud or quiet the chickens are, they might be able to raise some chickens. They might even get away with turkeys or goats or something like that, and on smaller land pieces, or the smaller pigs, and just have a couple of pigs that make sure they keep it clean so it doesn't smell. All right, let's go over here to the next one here. So rabbits is something just about you can raise anywhere. They don't make any noise. They give you great fertilizer for your garden, and their fertilizer you can put straight on. You don't have to let it cure for a while and cool down. However, with rabbits, rabbit meat is very fat-free. You have to have some sort of other fat, because the protein in this is basically, it's anti-fat. I mean, it's, I don't know how else to explain it. You need some fat in your diet, and rabbits don't give you fat. If you eat rabbit meat all the time, you're going to be hurting unless you supplement it with other forms of fat. All right. I'm just catching up on the side chat here. All right. Where'd it go? All right. Teresa says she loves doing rabbits. Diggs also says rabbits are very lean. Teresa says they have 8, and that would be ready March 1st. Fried rabbit talk. All right, avocado is a fatty vegetable or fruit, whatever you want to call it. It's a weird one. All right, Tina has a good one here. She lives in the country. They have a dairy farm. And I froze again. They have a dairy farm, hog, and a feedlot all within a mile. She's adding chickens and a couple of roosters, and so she's they're kind of self-sufficient there. I kind of figured you were talking about freezer camp there, Teresa. Yeah, rabbits are very easy to care for, so long as you have the proper pen cage set up for them. You can if you have them set up in above ground cages. It's with the mechanical hardware cloth. The hardware cloth on the bottom of the cage, so all the poop falls through and stuff. It's easy to gather it back up and everything. You can also, with rabbits, and this is what's I think is kind of neat, and once we get our greenhouse set up here, this is something we may do. They're just a little ways from us, Dirt Patch Heaven. She has a couple of raised planter beds in her greenhouse, and she put the rabbit cages on top of the raised planter beds. And she's just moved, and so while the rabbits are in there in the greenhouse, so it's not quite so cold for them in the wintertime, they are, eating, pooping, making babies, everything else, but they're filling up the pooping and peeing into the raised planter bed. She leaves them in one spot, and then she moves them over, for a couple weeks, and then moves it over for a couple weeks, and does that. And the cages, and that way the poop's all going directly in there. There's no shoveling, nothing else to do. And in the raised planter beds, she has quail running around as well. So the quail are over there digging and scratching and doing stuff, and the rabbits are pooping and peeing, and she's got the setup so it's taking care of itself. Some areas where they aren't so cold, like down there in the southern states or south of the Mason-Dixon line, there's it's warmer, so you don't have to have everything in a greenhouse, to keep the rabbits as warm and everything else. Also, though, if you have like the quail in there, or the chickens, like she has some chickens and turkeys in some of her greenhouses, scratching and digging and doing everything else there, the greenhouse keeps them from running away. So if you're going to do that and it's not cold enough for you to have a greenhouse, you need to figure out some sort of pen around there so that the birds don't get away. Yeah. Let's see. I'm just catching up here on the side chat here. Yeah, I've never raised rabbits either, but my daughter is raising some rabbits right now, and she brought them back. She bought a couple bigger cages, brought them back into the house because they were forgetting to go out there and water them and feed them, saying how that's the only thing to go out there for right now in the winter here. So she brought them back in the house and is taking care of them in the house. And I haven't asked her how she's doing about cleaning the cages, which is something that she needs to figure out to do, how she's going to be cleaning cages and everything, and collecting the poop. So that's something that she's going to be figuring out here in a little bit. All right. CB said she put her hutches in her coop. So I'm thinking that you put the rat hutches inside the chicken coops. Now, one of the things we found out when we were raising rabbits in California, these weren't raising rabbits. These were a couple pet rabbits my daughter had. And we built a little, like I think it was a 4 by 8 foot little run for them. Had a little rabbit house thing in there for them to go into. Well, they started digging and they dug under the fence to the next door neighbors. Fortunately, there's a daycare on the other side, and they had cemented the area between the fence and the building. And so there was no place for them to go. They could dig as much as they want, and they ain't going to get anywhere. And so that, was okay, there. But unless you have a cement slab backed up against it, they can dig under and feel more safer, like more natural. Then you got to figure something else. One of the things my cousins did for my grandmother when they were raising stuff for my grandmothers and working with my grandmother to raise stuff years and years and years ago, built the cage. They used chicken wire for the run for the rabbits, and they dug down about 1.5 feet and put the chicken wire down in the ground, and backed that up on the other side with some I'm trying to remember what it was. I think they got hold of some rolls of tar paper with a rock on it and stuff, and put that down there on the outside of the chicken wire. So if they dug down to hit the chicken wire, and they had the rocks, the tar paper on the other side, so they quit digging right away because they realized they couldn't get anywhere out. And so that was one way that they kept those rabbits contained. And CV says, yeah, the rabbit make better product, and the chickens mix it up. And Gear makes a point: make sure that the chickens can't get on top of the rabbit cages and poop over the rabbit. I've seen stuff where they've, chickens have gotten up on places we didn't want them to get up on. They pooped all over stuff we didn't want them pooping on, and we had to put other pieces of chicken wire up to keep them back down on the ground. Now, one of the other type animals that people can consider, and there's only a couple channels I've seen out here that have actually, I think that's the right one coming up. No, this is a different one. Actually, this is one too. I've only seen a couple channels that have gotten these. These are Highland cattle, and so they're very winter hardy. They're I guess the meat is supposed to be, fantastic, and the milk is better than most dairy cows, from what I've been told listening to these guys. And so this is not one that is very well known, but it is becoming more well known because of YouTube and channels that are raising these. Okay, I forget which one it is. Well, it's either Imaginary Acre Woods, which is Dave, or Jeremy at Living the Dream. Both are up in Bonner County, Idaho. One has the Highland cows, and the other one has yaks. And I'll get to yaks here in a little bit. Checking on the thing here. Idaho Garden Girl says she's just keeping her laying hens, not getting anything new. And Lewis says you see the size of rabbits up north from him in Canada, the size of your dog, but they're wild rabbits. Okay. Oh, Thor. Yeah, that's right. Thor's another one that has the Highland cows. Yes. Thorhaven has Highlands. Yes, that's right. And I just found out about that recently when I got resubscribed to his channel. All righty. Next one here. This is the other one that I know of only a couple channels that are doing this right now. One is Daniel and DJ at Arms Family Homestead. And they call them donkey poodles. Yes, they call them donkey poodles, especially after they shear them and stuff. And if they get just a poof around yeah. Anyways, they call them donkey poodles. And alpaca wool is so much more expensive to buy. So if you have alpacas, you're selling, you're going to make more money than sheep wool or llama. So, yeah. So this is one we actually were thinking about getting these here. However, their diet is very specific. There are certain things you can't have growing in the area. Buckwheat is one. Morning glory is another. And we have morning glory is the weed that just grows wild around here. So we didn't want them getting sick on morning glory and dying. So we decided not to do the alpacas. But those that are doing alpacas, if they have the right land they don't have the bad stuff growing and they're able to feed them properly and get the right type of vegetation growing for them, they do really well. Okay, I'm just catching up on the chat here. Or something like, another one that's over either, I'm not sure, probably maybe one soon, but I know there's a couple there in Scotland, Ireland that have them as well. Hey, Christy Betts, welcome. Oh, that is scary. Giant Polish rabbits. Yeah, I've seen something when I was looking at pictures of rabbits. There's several of these people holding these big old monster rabbits. It's like, no, that's too big for me. All right. All right. Lewis says there's a Highland cow 20 minutes from him. All right. So alpacas is one thing that, if you are looking to have a side hustle from your livestock and you have the land for it, alpacas is one. And okay, yaks. Like I mentioned, yaks earlier. This is yak. So you see, there's you got the yak. Doesn't look that much different than the Highland cow, except the Highland cow has big old monster horns, and the yaks have smaller horns. But yeah, somebody's actually raising the yaks for the meat. I saw an article on it. He's Midwest. He's raising yaks. And let's see. Okay, it's going by. Yeah. When someone talks about Rex rabbits, the first thing pops in my mind is T-Rex. No. And Diggs is asking if they have fangs and fly. Yeah, okay. Catch up here. All right, so I've heard of both Polish giant and Flemish giant. People talking about them. Now there is a channel up that was in Oregon. They moved to northern Idaho. Good Simple Living. They have it. They have. I mean, they have rabbits. That's what they were doing in Oregon and stuff. They have lots of rabbits, and she has videos on dressing out the rabbits. Hey, Mary Beth Smith. All righty. So yaks, I don't know much about yaks other than you know, they're another big one like that. And people milk yak, talk about yak milk and stuff like that for making cheese. So yaks and the Highland cows are not probably your best choice for down in the Gulf states. Yeah, a little too warm down there for them, unless you can share them in the summertime. And that's some of the ones I had picked out here. So I was hoping some others are going to show up here. I do know Cortney has added specific breeds of chickens to the ones she's raising, and she separated out all her lavender chickens, and so she's going to be breeding lavender chickens. And then of course she has the turkeys, and I'm not sure she's going to be doing ducks again or not. But ducks is another fowl that people raise. Pheasants. My neighbor across the street here, Curtis, was thinking about building a pheasant run. Last year he didn't get around to doing it. He got around to getting the boards and everything to do it. He bought a sawmill, and he's been getting down trees and just cutting them up and making lumber. So he may be building that this summer. If he does, I'm going to see if I can go over there and get some footage of him building it. And yeah, that's the full name. That's the full name of the ones that Cortney has. And here he comes sneaking in. Hey, Bruce, how's it going? Hey, Bruce, all right, since you're down there, what have you and Purple decided that you guys are going to be getting any animals, rabbits, chickens, turkeys, ducks, goats, whatever? Are you looking at getting anything for your place this summer? Okay, one. Yes, that's Diggs brings up something that I cannot afford. I grew up around horses. I love horses. My dad was in the rodeo. He was actually top 10 all around cowboy in the top 10 for 10 years. And then when he met my mom, he got out of the rodeo and settled down. And then my older sister, when she was in her teens, started doing barrel racing and some other stuff. And so, yeah, I grew up around horses, and I so want to get some horses, a couple of Morgans possibly, or some good quarter horses. But like I said, it takes money, and I'm not independently wealthy yet. I haven't found that winning lottery ticket laying on the ground. oh, I'm not even going to put that comment up, Bruce. You're talking like Steve again, talking about long pork there. Just checking on here. Yeah, using their energy to stay warm. One of the things also that a lot of people tend to forget about is that a lot of animals don't need us taking care of them so long as they have food and water. I mean, chickens have been domesticated. There are still wild birds out there and stuff. And when people's chickens get loose, there are wild chickens roaming around. Rabbits are semi-domesticated animal. You do not need to worry about keeping the chickens warm. You do not need to worry about keeping the rabbits warm. The only thing you need to worry about keeping warm is their water, so it doesn't freeze. It can be 35-degree water. That's fine. That works for them. But you don't have to, heat insulate and heat their living accommodations for the birds or the rabbits. The only thing you're worrying about is trying to keep the water from freezing. So those are in the northern areas where it freezes. And a lot of people keep thinking, oh, I got to do this for the chickens. And they get the chicken coop all nice and hot. And the chickens go outside for a minute and they come back in and they get sick from the temperature change going back and forth and stuff. Let's see here. Okay, just catching up on chat, seeing if there's anything interested out there. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Interesting note about talking about horses and stuff. And people bear with me on this. I did a bit of research on this one. Clydesdales. Clydesdales are people-friendly horses. I've ridden on many horses. I've watched my dad and other people ride on horses where the horse gets a burr up its butt, to say, and it's walking along. And if it's a tree there, it kind of works its way over towards the tree and tries to catch a limb to knock the rider off. Or they'll, at the side of the barn, the horse is riding along and starts getting close to the barn and try to rub your leg on the barn to make you get off. They will purposely step on your foot if you're standing next to them, if they don't want to be ridden. Clydesdales, there's no records. I mean, there's no record of that. If you get on a Clydesdale, get them saddled and stuff, and use them as a riding horse too, they're like, no problem. I was raised to carry knights in armor. You're nothing. And same thing with a couple of the others. The Persian, I can't pronounce it right. The other big horses are two other breeds of big horses. I can see the word. I just can't get it to make my tongue work. One begins with an A. The other one begins with a P. And they are big. Basically, they're draft horses. The draft horses generally are much more rider friendly than the quarter horses, the Palominos, the Morgans, any of the others. They just there's something about being a big horse. It's like, there ain't nothing on my back. I can handle it. Oh yeah, but Bruce, you're going to get out of shape not being able to shovel it. You need to get out there and start shoveling something, and not here on YouTube. Yeah, you shovel enough here on YouTube, but you need to actually get out there and shovel something to keep your back going and everything strong. Hey Steve, how's it going? Oh, by the way, folks, Corsair Trainers has started his members only stuff. So I know Anthony Pinot was the first one in. I was the second one in. Several others joined on his live stream this morning. So he's putting together his quote pirate crew. Cortney has her poop troop. Steve has his pirate crew. So putting things together there. All right. Other type animals or livestock that you guys can have for your homestead, your suburban homestead, your urban homestead, whatever it is. All right. Teresa says she liked having quail, would do it again. They also want to do 2 pigs again. I've been very torn up on doing pigs. The place I bought across the street, it's been a year ago now that I bought it. The has a pig pen set up here. It's got a grain silo that's been adapted. It's only I think it's like 10 foot tall to the sides and then goes up for the peak and stuff. It's all metal. And it's cemented inside, and then the run where the pigs are at is cemented as well. And Brandon used to keep get bales of straw and stuff and spread it out in there just to, so it'd be easy to clean up the pig poo and stuff. And yeah, that's the problem too. If pigs get out, you got to chase them down. But my thing is set up for them. However, when I went in there, Brandon, when he was getting rid of the pigs and cleaned the place up to sell to us, he got his little skip loader, went in there or skid steer, went in there and scraped out as much as he could with it. And he told me to dump it out in my field because we use it for manure and stuff, fertilizer. But when in the springtime last year, I went out there with my tractor and there's still a lot of stuff. And when I started scraping stuff out, the smell, even though he cleaned a lot of it out, the smell was still kind of bad. It's like, do I really want to raise a pig? So, Teresa says pigs is the biggest thing they will have again, and fencing's why they don't have pigs right now. Goats. Thank you, Diggs, for reminding me about goats. There are several types of goats. There are your Boer goats, your Kiko goats, your Spanish goats, your pygmy goats, your fainting goats. That's for Jay. Fainting goats. The thing is with goats are very herd mentality, social animals. You have a lot of goats around. Goats are happy. You have one or two goats. They're unhappy. They want to get out and find a bunch of goats, and so that's something to that my wife's been thinking about getting goats, but before we get goats, we have to go over the other place over there and really go around, work on the fencing, make sure the fencing, there's a lot of areas on the fencing that needs to be straightened up, fixed, repaired, made so the goats can't get out. Then we have to fence off half the property at least to keep the goats where we'd want them at, and not over into the garden, the orchard, the lawn where the kids play. And so there's a lot of things there. And goats will decimate a young orchard. Old orchard, they will eat the barks off the tree, and they will kill trees. So you got to be careful what you have around for the goats. That's one time that my cousin had goats at my grandmother's. They got out and they nearly killed the avocado tree. And my grandmother, who was in her late 70s, actually 80s at the time, was going out there with a hatchet to get rid of the goats. And so my cousin got rid of them really. And I froze again. Okay. That was something else my wife was thinking about too, because they don't try to get out as much as goats do, and that's sheep. But sheep is another bunch of work and stuff for the amount of stuff not even sure we want to try to do until my wife is retired up here as well. And that's, doing sheep, because basically, with the sheep, it's like the alpacas, takes a lot of extra work. Yeah, you're getting the wool off of them, but it's just something that we did not plan on doing. And, if we had, an area for the sheep just to graze and stuff, and we call someone in and have them share us, take the wool at a certain price, and we just, raise them that way and not have to worry about it, we might think about that. The goats, the reason why my wife wants to get goats is that the goats would eat all the thistles and everything else growing over there and keep that stuff from, spreading like it has been, and where I don't have to go out there and till it under, 3 times a year. Okay, what Bruce says, go back up here. Yes, goats even eat pine trees, and so that's something we don't want them to eat around here. Okay, I'm trying to find out. Okay, meat goats, yeah. And Boer meat goats, better than Boer for meat goats are the Spanish goats, and better than Spanish goats are the Kiko goats. Spanish and Kiko goats are more parasite resistant than the Boers are. But to get into some of the milking goats and stuff, they are very parasite susceptible. Nubians, yeah. Nubians are one of the ones that are parasite susceptible. Yeah. And let me go back down here and try and catch up on what thing. Okay, Bruce says that's why his mom and dad had him gated up and secured. And he laughed at secured, huh? And the donkeys kept the goats pretty in line pretty well. Okay. Oh yeah, and that's something my wife would kill the goats for instantly. She'd get out my rifle and just start popping off goats. My wife loves her roses. Okay. That's something we've thought about too, but we're not really that much on lamb eaters, sheep eat, whatever you want, lamb chops and stuff. We're not that, big on that. Ah, yes, Kaylin, that is something when my wife gets up here, we will either make a deal with the local bee place, Cox Honey, and either get them to put several of the hives out here, because nobody puts hives around us for some reason. And there is a lot of alfalfa goes in at times, and potatoes. There are a lot of flowering plants out here, and we're not sure where the bees are come from. There's not that many bees around out here, but we're thinking about making a deal for them to be able to put the bees here on our place where they could get to all this flowering vegetation that they could get stuff from, and then they just give us a couple things of honey each year, so it would cover the thing. Hey, Alicia, how's it going? Let's see here. Llamas. We talked about alpacas and a little bit of llamas. Llamas will spit and bite you more than alpacas will. Alpacas are much more friendly, a little bit smaller, and the wool from the alpacas, you get more per pound than you do from the llamas. Just trying to catch up here on some of the comments that was made there. All right. I think I'm caught up there now. Yes. Mites is one thing you got to watch. And I froze. One thing you'll watch out for is mites, that can devastate a hive. And you got to keep up on it. And Kaylin, you got cold weather there, so those bees, one of the problems I've noticed about with the bees, I'm doing research, the commercial guys that ship their bees around, they take them up north in the summertime and take them south in the wintertime and keep them working all the time. They have problems because they don't rest during the wintertime. So. Yeah, so that it weakens the bees, and they're more susceptible to different things like the mites and other stuff. Just catching up here, seeing. I know Broussards have several beehives. You can watch what they've been doing with them. I'm trying to think who else was doing in the community here that was doing bees. Was it Lala Farm? Rick at Lala Farm has bees. Was doing bees and stuff. Had several things, videos on it, and actually going out and capturing some hives that were in trees, and capturing everything, all of them for helping his out. Yeah, alfalfa is one of their last choices, but I guess if they're the clover fields, because they do clover out here as well. And the bees love clover. Orange trees are kind of hard to do here because of the weather, but I know down in Southern California, you could buy the orange honey from the orange groves. And Kaylin says Russian bees are best for cold climates. Yeah. Oh, I got to find out. Jeremy at Living the Dream has bees. I got to find out what type of bees he has. Got to go back and watch his videos on it. Oh yeah, the bee lady apiary. Yeah, her channel's good too. The Artistic Prepper One. Hey, how's it going? All right. Virginia's in here. Which Virginia? Is that Virginia Roots in here? I don't see your comment. It must be hiding from me. All right. Yeah, so there are a lot of things to look into as far as what sort of animals, livestock you want to get. Hey, Guardian Prepper, how's it going? Especially if you aren't raising animals now. I don't know, sure, Steve's still in here. Steve, something for Steve down there in California, which would be probably, he could probably set up and do really good, is to raise some rabbits or quail, small quail, do that. Those don't make much noise, hardly at all. When alert the neighbors to them having them, and he'd be able to raise some meat and maybe even sell stuff off too. Of course, if you have a lot of rabbit babies just before Easter, you can sell a bunch of them off. Okay, let's see here. Let you figure. Yeah, Steve's doing it. He's figuring out the garden first, then he'll worry about the animals. But remember, Steve, the rabbit poo is really good. You can put it directly on your plants. You just got to make sure the rabbits don't get out and eat your plants. All righty, folks. Anybody have any other suggestions of livestock, that people might consider if they're just starting out to have livestock? That's one of the things to, that there's a lot of people that are getting into prepping and are considering getting some, animals or whatever to try to raise animals as part of their preps, but don't know anything about it. And so hopefully there'll be some in here that are just lurking, watching, trying to pick up some tips. And Fat Man says quail. Ray, I'm sorry. I totally had a brain fart. I forgot to include you on the list with the link. Oh, Kaylin's right. Yes, if you have big enough land, you can, and you have a big enough pond, you can raise fish in it. Now, here's something interesting. I were a couple channels I was following back years ago that the guy took his swimming pool because they were getting tired of all the expense for the chlorine and everything else to keep the pool swim worthy, and the kids weren't swimming in it that much. He converted it into an aquaponics farm. So basically, he has the floating baskets with the food in it that, and then he's had tilapia. So he's growing tilapia. He was just using the circulator around, and he had some above ground tubs and stuff that he had other root vegetables growing in the water and everything. And so he was using his in-ground pool, turned it into an aquaponics system. Someone else took one of those above ground pools, one of those 4-foot tall ones, 20-foot round, and did the same thing with it. Yep, we already covered ducks, Megan. All right, Bruce, kill it, Bruce, kill it. Kill the troll. And who's killing the troll? Beat that troll into the ground, people. Steve got it. All right. Yeah, we nailed the troll on Steve this morning, and so Steve got mine here. Thank you, Steve. And everybody's beating back and forth, and yeah. All right. So, hey, Hey, Bruce, the reason why Steve wouldn't let you do it because you went there this morning on the morning on the Island of Misfit Toys coffee hour this morning, and you haven't joined the crew yet. All right. So let's see here. Okay, so tilapia's got to have permits in some states, non-native species. Well, the thing is, so you can find some other native species and check with the Fish and Game. Hey, can we raise these here to keep on site, not to let loose? To and you can check on that. All right, Steve and Bruce are going to start going at it here. Marines versus Army. All righty. But yeah, so aquaponics is something else to consider. That's even for a suburban area, urban area. I'm sorry. You had to be there this morning on Corsair Trainers to understand what row, Bruce, row means. Oh, Fat Man's getting on it with Navy. All righty. So getting close to the end here. So like I said at the beginning, everyone's here. So I'm, with things going on and the games that our YouTube is playing and just all the time it takes running everything, I'm thinking about cutting out either the Monday night here on Camppatton Family Compound or the Friday night. Monday night is at 8:30 Eastern. Figure out your time zone from Eastern. Friday is at 10 o'clock Eastern. Whichever one you think you would prefer that I keep up, I'm going to keep up. So it's going to be the Monday night Fireside or Friday night on the homestead. I'm going to just keep one of them. I'm cutting back there. I'm also going to cut back on a Gray Man Prepping. I'm going to probably most likely get rid of the Thursday talk as soon as I go through the last 12 little scenarios I have here set up. One of the big problems I've noticed the games YouTube playing is that on my contents, I watch, oh, great, this new video is making lots of numbers. It's going up, up, up. All of a sudden it drops down. And they're like, wait, how can people unwatch views? How can you unview a video? And YouTube takes views off here, takes views off there. My older videos, they're taking off all the likes. I mean, all of a sudden the likes are just something, it's like, wait a minute, what happened to all the likes on this video? So yeah, YouTube's playing games of everybody, especially, ones that are just lowly monetized like I am. So it's getting to be not worth it even to do it. Even though I enjoy it, it's a lot of work getting stuff ready for these. So I'm cutting back I'm going to cut back for one for Gray Man Prepping and one for Camppatton Family Compound. And so, let me know what you think. Which one you'd rather have me do, Mondays or Fridays? Monday early, Fridays an hour and a half later start time, and probably next week or the following week I'm going to cut one of them out. But yeah, and with that, okay. And so what's coming up next here? Let me grab that here. So coming up next tomorrow night on Gray Man Prepping for Tactical Tuesday is investing in your preps. Do more, do less, buy more, buy less. Friday night in the homestead is going to be indoor greenhouses. Are they worth it? And we're talking about growing plants indoors, especially in the colder climates or down where suddenly people in some of the southern states are getting frost where they've never had it before, or at least they haven't had it for 5-10 years or so. Thursday's going to be the scenario on Thursday's talk is after the first year of a mini ice age. What are your plans? Hey, Chipper 66. And let's see, and then so that's what's coming up right now. The next couple of them coming up. So let me know what you think, and we'll I'll about my Mondays or Fridays, so I know what to do. All righty. Diggs is live on Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern. Okay. Anybody else here going? Well, I know coming up here in half an hour, Whyde Family Farm, Courtney's doing a members only. For those of you that are members of Whyde Family Farm, that's at in half an hour at 10 o'clock Eastern. Yeah, I'm second mate on the pirate ship. Steve is the captain. Anthony Pimento Prepared is first mate. I'm second mate. Anna Lee Brown is up in the crow's nest with Tyler from Let's Talk About Prepping. Fireplug is manning the drum for the rowers. Boom, boom, boom. To make you guys row in time. And we got a couple other members of the upper crew already set up. So, and I froze again. All right, so that's it for now. I just want to remind everybody, stay happy no matter what life throws at you, even if YouTube is bending you over the barrel. Keep safe. Don't go out and do anything foolish. Keep adding to your preps and supplies, water, food, medicines, clothing, animal food for your livestock.